Morning, first grade. Welcome to your new spelling list for this week. This week we are focusing on the inflected ending S and how that changes a word. So you need this journal in front of you and a pencil. And we're going to open it up to the next available page. We've done quite a bit of work this year already. Okay, so here's my next available page. And now I'm going to get a little bit closer with my camera. And it's very bright. Let's see if we can't get rid of some of that brightness. There we go. Okay. This happens to me in the classroom too. Just takes a moment. You have to make the camera do what you want it to do. Okay. So first step, what we're going to do is we're going to create something that's going to help us to gather our thoughts and to organize them. It's called an H chart, and you're going to see why it's called an H chart when we're done. So first step, I want you to take your hand, your non-writing hand, and I want you to line up your hand with the red line. So Mrs. Smith is right-handed, so she's going to use her left hand here. But if you're left-handed, you'll put your pointer finger and you'll match on this side. So right-handed and left-handed. So I'm going to use 3 fingers because my hands are a little bigger than yours. But you probably want to use all 5. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to help me make a straight line, mostly down my book. Not perfect, doesn't have to be. Same thing over here, except I'm going to do it left-handed like I would if I were left-handed. So here I match up my 3, and then I draw my line down my hand. Okay, so sometimes my drawing is better than others. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to draw a line right across the top. All right, can you see why it's called an H chart now? Because it looks like an H. You got that right. Okay, on this far left column, we're going to title this column Base Word. Okay. In the middle column, we're going to title this one with a hyphen and an S, which means there's something missing here and the hyphen takes its place. And the last column is hyphen. Uh-oh, my pencil broke. Hold on one second. Ta-da! Fixed. Okay. So this one is going to be titled ING. All right, and again with the hyphen that takes the place of something else. So what we're doing now is we're taking these base words, which have been most of our spelling words, these base words, and our base words are these ones. N, A, P, I, T. H, I, T. W, I, N. S, I, T. Okay, so adding an inflected ending means that we are going to change the word. So we can use each of these words in a sentence. I'm going to give you an example. The cat will take a nap. Can you see him behind me here? On the red blanket. The baby will throw a fit if you don't feed her when she wants you to. The baseball player will hit the ball. They will win the game. Will you please sit at your desk? Okay, so you can see that each one of these words has a meaning when we use that. So let's talk about how the cat will take a nap on the red blanket. We can, if we add the inflected ending S, it changes the word. We can say, so if the cat will take a nap, that means that it's in the future, even if it's just like a moment from now. That's in the future. If we say the cat naps, that means the cat is napping right now. And we can also say a baby will take 2 naps, which means that's more than one. So this can be an action word for the present, and it can also mean more than one. It really depends on the context of the sentence, which is why when we're reading, we want to make sure that we're listening to what we're reading. That way we can kind of figure out what kind of word we need. It also helps you for when you are writing. So if we're speaking about the first graders' naps, that doesn't make any sense. First of all, first graders don't nap. Secondly, first graders don't naps. First graders nap. So depending on using the S is also depending on the subject and how many people or how many things we're speaking about. And also, if we're going to change the ending, we can change it to napping. You'll notice that when I added the ing ending, something happened here. I like to call these glued letters because I don't say napping, I just say napping. They're glued together. The sound is placed together. All right, so let's keep going. All right, the baby threw a fit. The baby threw 2 fits. Or you could say, the shoe fits Cinderella. So both cases work. And then fitting also has a glued letter in the middle. Notice how I'm putting a rectangle or a square around those? Might be a good idea to help to remind you. You'll notice that there are not glued letters when we add an S, just ing. All right, hit becomes hits, which becomes hitting. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to fill in what will go here, 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 and here, remembering the glued letters. So you're going to pause me now and you're going to fill in each of those. I'm going to pause and then it'll come back magically and it'll be all set. Okay, did you do the same thing that I did? Did you do wins and sits? Winning and sitting. Did you remember to make the glued letters? I hope so. All right, so there are our inflected endings. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to place a quiz. And I'm going to fill in some spaces, and I want you to figure out what is missing and what will need to go there, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause my video for a second, and then when I come back, it's going to have a whole new set, and I'll explain what to do with it. Okay, see you in a moment. All right, so here is your little quiz. Here I'll give you the base word, but you need to write down the S inflected ending word and the ing inflected ending word. Here I give you the S inflected, but not the base or the ing. And here I give you the ing, but not the base or the S inflected. So I want you to pause me now so that you can fill these in, and then you'll check your answers with mine when you come back. See you in a moment. Okay, so make sure yours are done before you check them with mine. It's okay to get them wrong. I'd rather have you try and then fix them when you look at mine than not to try at all. All right, so here you can see that I've highlighted all the correct answers. So gets needed getting with the glued letters, and it also needed get. Wag needed wags and wagging with the double letters. And picking needed picks and pick. Now you'll notice that picking does not have double letters. Do you notice that the double letters are the N's, the T's, the P's, and the G's? But this K does not get a double letter. That tells you that when you're writing your own words and you want to add an ing word, if it ends in a P, a T, an N, or a G, what are you going to need to do with the base word? You're going to need to double it. When you double it, then you'll be spelling it correctly. Then you'll come across a word that doesn't need a double, that ends in something like K. And there are other letters that also don't need a double, like if the word ends in X, or if the word ends in, let me see, I've got to think of another one now. If the word ends in CK or regular K, also do not need double letters. So something to keep in mind. All right, so to review. When you want to change a word, you can add an inflected ending. When you add an inflected ending, it changes the spelling. You can add an inflected S to make naps, or you can add an inflected ing to make it into napping. Notice that sometimes in the middle of the word, especially if the word ends in P or T or N or G, you are going to need to double and make some glued letters. But not every word needs to be doubled when you add ing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and I'm going to take out my index cards. So you need some index cards or just some rectangles of paper is just fine. And you need your pencil and we'll get started on the next activity. It's all going to be on this video, so I'm just pausing for a moment so I can get my things together. See you in a moment. This is how many cards you will need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What we're going to do now is we're going to take each one of these cards and we're going to fold it in half like we've done before, making those little tents. Okay, and then we're going to cut each card in half so that we are ready. So each one of these cards need to be cut in half, and so I'm going to do that right now, and then you should do the same. See you in a moment. Okay, so I have all my cards, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather them up and make a neat pile. And then I am going to use a marker so that it's easier to see. I would suggest that you use your pencil. If you want to trace over with a marker after you're done with your pencil, that would be just fine. But for right now, use that pencil. All right, so first letter, A, I, C. Notice how I'm not making capitals. F, H, T, S, S, W, N, E, R, O, O, P. Okay, I had one left over. Just going to put that off to the side. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put each of these cards at the top of my workspace. You're probably not going to be able to see all of them, but you can trust me that I have put my cards on the top of my workspace. So just you do the same thing. This is exactly what we would do in the classroom, except in the classroom we have our wonderful giant desks, which makes it a lot easier to see. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build words. And the first thing I want to do is just build our spelling words. So the first word I want you to build is fit. F-I-T. Do that now. Okay, let's check it. F-I-T. Fit. Okay, now I'd like you to take fit and make it into s-it. Change fit into s-it. There you go. Okay, now I'd like you to change s-it into s-its. S-its. S. Weird sound. It's. Can you make that sound? S. Weird. Very strange. Hard to say. It's. It's actually a combination of the T and the S sound. So I want you to try to hit that T, the T, and then add a S. So tss, tss. Take some practice. Okay. Now I want you to change sits into hits. Hits. It's. Okay. Now I'd like you to change hits into fits. Fits. It's. Now I'd like you to change fits into fins. Ins. Ins. Now I want you to change fins into wins. W-ins. I'd like you to change w-ins into win. Okay. I'd like you to change win into twin. Twa-in. 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 Into twins. Twins. Okay. Now I'd like you to change twins, and we're going to put them all back. And now I'd like you to make the high frequency word two. So this is the original two that you've been using the whole time. So you know this two. We see this word a lot. This means I'm going to somewhere, and it's usually a directional term. But our high frequency word this week is a trickster. It has a glued letter. It's O-O. So when you see the word to spelt like this, it means also. So instead of saying I'm going to go to with two O's to the store, it means I'm going to go to the store also. I am going to go to the store too. This means also. Okay. Now, please make your other high frequency word. It's the word her. Huh? This one's tricky. It is a vowel, then the R. So every word has to have a vowel. It has to have either A, E, I, O, or U, sometimes Y, and sometimes more than one. But in this case, if we just listen to the two sounds, we'll spell it like this, her. But that can't be a word because it doesn't have a vowel. So we need to add the vowel to make it her. This is the form that means a girl, or it's the, we're going to go to her house. It's a girl's word. Okay. Take away the R. What's that word? It no longer makes when the E is by itself, it says its name. What is E's name? E's name is E. E. He. This is the word he, which of course is a boy's word. Okay? And now we're going to really blow our minds. What's this word? This is the word the. So when T and H are together, it makes a th. And then the E makes an sound. So strange. I know. This is why we practice. Okay? And the last one I want you to do is this word. What's that word? First grade wins. They do. Okay, so here's my suggestion. Each of these words, these letters, can be used to make the words of your spelling list. So I'd like you to try to make each of the words with your spelling list. First, make the word without the S, say it, in, win. Then make it with the S and say it with the S now. Ins, wins. And do each of your spelling words now. That's what we would have done in the class as well. And during the week, you could keep these cards and you can actually practice your spelling words this way if you like to move them around and play with them that way. You could also put these on the refrigerator and you could make this same activity on the refrigerator using the magnets there. You could even put magnets on the back of the cards and stick them to the fridge. I think that that would be fun. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed and I hope you're ready for your spelling test this week. See you soon.